Alrighty. Sound looks good. Everything looks good. Super happy. Move this just a little bit so it's a little bit more even. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wheelers Minis and another wonderful episode of Mini Paint and Chill, where I mini paint and you chill. I am back from con and taking a little bit of time to myself so that I could recoup. But yeah, a few quick things to get out of the way before I get started. One, if you aren't already following the channel, please do. If you have the financial ability to, consider subscribing or purchasing something off my website, wheelersminis.com. Follow me on all my socials at Wheelers Minis on pretty much everything. If you are watching this on YouTube, hi YouTube. Thank you so much for watching this. Please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I was trying to hit 100 subscribers by tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll have 17 or so people find this and be able to do that. So we'll see whenever I hit 100 subscribers. Hopefully at some point. But yeah, tomorrow's my birthday, so I wanted to take some time today, especially since I took last week off to get some painting done. I haven't been as consistent with painting since after the convention, and I want to be. So I'm gonna start painting more. I want to continue to hone my craft and get better at it, and that only happens when you actually put effort into doing the thing. So, yeah, I'll take this time to hopefully, I'll probably mention it again in later streams as well. But I will be gone at the end of this month. I'm going on my honeymoon, so I will kind of not be as present for a couple weeks. But I should be good to go up until that point, and then when I get back, I'll let you guys know whenever I choose to start doing streams again, which shouldn't be too long afterwards. I'm not like leaving or anything. I'm just want to take the time to actually very specifically spend time not thinking about things and doing things. But I will be painting consistently from now until then. God, 15 days. Can I do that? Yeah, I can do that. 6. One every 2 days. I can do that. That's easy. Every 2.5 days, technically. Sorry, I'm thinking about a commission that I have. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff I can paint. I'm just kind of gonna go around and paint what I want to today, and we'll see where that leads us. I got a bunch of my unpainted stuff that I've already primed that I should probably get to work on. Some characters for my D&D game. Also, all of the Trench Crusade stuff that I printed out that I was super excited to paint. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm just gonna paint, and if you have any questions, you feel free to ask them in the chat. But if I don't get to them, it's probably because I'm really focused on painting. Yeah. So I'm starting out with this model that I did some work on a while ago. I kind of put it to the side, but it's getting to the point where I need to start painting it. Sorry. So I'm just getting a base coat on some of the areas so that way I can start working on it. Finding time to be creative is never easy, because especially when you do what I did, which is what you should probably never do, and you make it a part of your business, you start to lose interest in it from time to time. So I just this is here. Move this very easily. There we go. That's a lot better. So yeah, I've just kind of not had the motivation to paint a lot recently, and I don't know why that is. Probably the planets being aligned in a specific way right now. I usually like to say when I can't explain something, it's probably the moon. But just haven't had motivation to paint a lot recently. It's changed a little bit as time has gone on, just because I do want to like actually put forth an effort into making sure that the things that I do, especially this creative hobby of mine, I'm getting better at. Because I like learning new things, and I don't like being stagnant in something that I enjoy, because then I lose some of the enjoyment for it. And I think getting better at that thing will help me kind of lose that lack of motivation. Um, Comparison is the thief of joy, but unfortunately, it's the only way that you can see what you need to do better in an artistic way at times. So I have to compare myself to some people at times, and that can be very disheartening. But it is what it is. And we continue to move. Honestly, painting and thinking about getting better at this is taking me away from thinking about how shitty the world is right now. So, yay, escapism. I'm using a really big brush right now, legitimately only because it's such a large area to cover. So I'm just trying to make sure that it covers quickly and efficiently. I could use a smaller brush, but it just wouldn't make sense to do so. Once I get more into the areas where I need to be a little bit more detailed where I put the color, I will switch over to a different brush. But for now, this size is fine. Just trying to cover an area quickly. I think that's the thing, is you have to start to, when you paint, you have to understand what brushes you need at what times, and when you can be a little messy, and when you need to really buckle down and work on the details. I talk about it all the time. It's like when you're first getting a base coat on, you don't really necessarily need it to be super crisp and clean in the line work, because you can go back over it later. It does help. Especially if the colors are drastically different. Obviously, you don't want to get, you don't want to get a super bright color on something that's dark, because it'll be hard to cover up. But with just getting paint on the model, not that important to be super careful at this moment. Being messy can sometimes be good, Gives you a chance to make mistakes and kind of learn from them. The funny thing about this model particularly is that it didn't print very well because I was dumb and didn't read the instruction manual. But it still works, and it's still not that bad, so I decided to just stick with it. And for this color, because of what this character is, we're using Night Sky, because I'm gonna do like a dark blue wash over it, and then I'm gonna paint on like little silver dots and things that look like stars. Hopefully will read through well. I don't know why it wouldn't. Because of that, she's gonna get a lot of silver on her. But it's gonna be a lot of like purples and things. No, I'm just going back over anything that looks like it might need a second coat to get the coverage nice. Obviously, the things that are underneath aren't going to be seen really at all, but it's still important to get color down there. Make sure it looks even and nice and things. So. I guess the question is, what color do I want her armor to be? Because I was thinking purple, but I think that magenta might be a better tone. You get pretty close. Oh, I do have a lower design. I got the Blanche Berry one. This is really dark though. Oh, blue. You are red complementary ish. Well, and then like a dark blue. Oh. Tertiary with tertiary. What do I want her wings? No, I want her wings to be like dark green. Let's start with the Blancheberry and see how that goes. I might like it, I might not. So, the only way to find out is to actually put color on. It is a pretty color though. Be big enough. No, I think I might have been on something here. Ooh, a nice color. I like the idea of it being like wine. I can always highlight it in fun ways and make it so that it's not. Darkens down real nice. Yeah, I think I like this color. Again, if I want later on, I can always highlight it differently so that way it has different colors to it, but I think this as a base tone is a really nice color, so... I think having this, I was debating whether or not to paint it everywhere, but I think having it as a universal shadow tone for the armor is good. I do like the way that it looks, especially as it like darkens down and on kind of contrast with the in contrast with the night sky. I think it looks really cool. So I think I am just going to paint it all this color. The best of my ability. And then wherever we choose to go from there, figure it out. I just do really like the color. It's really, really pretty. Trying to be better at painting things I'm uncomfortable with. But some of these colors are going to be things that I'm not used to. And that's okay. These places underneath just did not print very well, so the quality's not the best, but again, that's okay. Work with what we've got. Valuable lesson. One, always read the instruction booklet so you don't mess up your printer or cause any unwanted issues. And two, you're not always going to have the best quality thing, so work with what you've got and make it the best that you can with your technique and ability, and see where it goes from there. I think it is ever important to remember at times that you don't always need the best brush or paints or things like that to make a model look good. Obviously, the model looking good is a big part of why the model looks good in the end, because having a good canvas can help, but it's not a requirement. And having the patience to mess around with something that doesn't necessarily look the best is important to remember. And again, for now, we're going to do we're just going to kind of paint everything in this color, and then as we start to move up, obviously except the things that we've already painted in that color, or in a different color, but as we begin to move up with highlights, we can kind of pick and choose where we want to go with it. It's just this, you know, overarching shadow across the model will help bring everything together. That's what I'm doing. I'm just doing like a really deep, almost like wine red or moldberry. This one's called blanched berry, but I'm doing this across all of the armor bits and such. And then when we begin to move up, I can change the color a little bit, but it'll still have that kind of undertone to it. Pop my hip into place. And about making sure paint's on the model. I think that's my biggest thing that I've always had an issue with, is just understanding when things need to be detailed and understanding when you can be messy. Because obviously you want to make sure that you get a good base tone down and things like that. And you definitely don't want things to look grody, but it's also not the end of the world if it has a little bit of grit to it. And honestly, for her, once I get closer to detail, that's when I'm really going to start harping in on things, because he is supposed to be a very elegant and pretty thing. But for now, she's just going to be an amalgam of paint on a model. That is okay. Do start to focus, things will take more of a turn visually, and we'll focus more on the tiny details. I also don't work on models this big all the time, so I'm trying to get better at it. I'm so used to getting things done quickly, because I'm painting smaller models, but painting bigger models, and again, putting yourself out of your comfort zone, whether that's with the scale of the model that you're painting, or if it's with the color scheme that you're painting, is always important to do from time to time. Getting yourself out of your comfort zone is how we learn and how we get better, especially in artistic endeavors. You're always scared to paint something particular. You'll never actually go through with the painting. Further out here. Look at other things as well, just to see where I want them to be. Her base is around here somewhere too. I remember where it is though. So sooner rather than later, it's going to start to get easier for me to paint this. Because then I can stick her on there and not have to worry about anything. I think what I'm going to do is, paint I started with the Betty Browns, so we're going to do that. Wood color on the base while she's drying, because I want to do her wings, but unfortunately I grab her wings quite often. And what I'll also probably do is definitely going to put some texture paste on there to on the base to kind of, probably some mud, just give it like a lively look, and then put some tufts or things down. Some blend. And for funsies, try putting some lichen weathering powder on the stones. I don't know, it seems cool. And this is a fake creature, so it's not too far out of the realm of possibility that there would be, you know, moss and growing things. Get some color underneath. Probably gonna hit this up with a shade to darken it a little bit, but it is Ruddy Terra, so I want it to. It definitely lends itself more for like desolate waste, but I don't know. I wanted to use it. I don't think I've used it that often yet, and I want to get it working. And these colors are from the John Blanche set that came out. I really like them so far. They've added to a lot of the color triads that I already use pretty often. So it just kind of made sense to grab it. Like the grays. Honestly, it fits really nicely too, because a lot of the colors have there are some warm tones, but there are some cool tones as well, some weird cool tones, which personally I love. You tend to paint very cold. majority because I just really like desaturated tones. I think they look really pretty. I don't necessarily know why I attribute them to being more elegant. I'm sure there's some like social conditioning that has happened there, but I just think that desaturated colors just have a little bit more elegance to them for some reason. She's a little bit of the stone texture on her, so. I really think her hair should be black. Maybe I should have done a different color. Man, I hate this because I feel like I definitely should have done a different color. Let me look up. And I think I just had a really fun idea. Oh, they do kind of have a little bit. Oh, I may have just saved myself on something because I think they do have that color. Sorry, I was looking it up because she's associated with the night, so I was like, oh, she should be a Luna moth. Like, she should look like a Luna moth. And they do have this kind of blanched berry color to them. Luckily, because I was like, I should have painted this green. But no, I was actually smart, and I totally meant to do this, obviously. But now I'm really excited because now I have a good, clear idea of where and how I want her to look. And we're going to start out her little headband piece with some evergreen fog. I don't believe that the desaturated cool greens were any of the new John Blanche colors, which is fun. Do that, and then we're gonna move up from there, do a nice, oh yeah, okay. God, I've been struggling trying to figure out what kind of scheme I wanted for her for so long. Because, like, I had an idea, but I didn't know how to execute it. And now I have a very clear idea, and I know exactly how I want it. And inevitably, when I give this model to the character or player that the character attributed to, it will fit their aesthetic very well. I actually want to take some time on this one because, again, I don't tend to take a lot of time on models, and I think that is a travesty. I think I should be more in line with what I want my models to look like. And that means that sometimes I'm going to have to take more time. I think it's also really fun because I don't know. He's a high fae, but like of the Unseelie court. So having just a bunch of colors on her feels right, you know? Like a bunch of desaturated or really dull but so tellingly vibrant colors just kind of feels right. I don't know. I'm grasping for straws here, but I do like the direction that I'm choosing to go in. And that means that her neck is not. Almost to get that silvery sheen too, what I think I'm going to end up doing is I'll start out with dark silver, but I'll go up to the white alchemy that I have from scale 75 and do that as kind of like a vibrant overtone of it because it'll look so cool. But yeah, I think I'm going to do this like nice kind of blanched berry look, and then maybe move it up with like a greenish red, which what tone would that be? Like green and red. What did green and red make? What would that tone be called? Like beige? Or an ochre? I guess, yeah, it would be kind of an ochre. Okay. You now have a plan, you beautiful, beautiful woman. Alright, and then her hair's definitely going to be black. But I think with like a nice sheen over the top of it. Like I wish I could, well, I guess I can. Like if I have a metal medium, I'll just like do that and then just like super lightly dry brush over it. Like that. Yeah. I really like this idea. She's got this like coral on her head. Yeah, I somehow stumbled my way into the right color, which is just absolutely insane to me. It is not my luck in the slightest, usually. I think the person whose character this is attributed to gave me an idea of what they wanted them to look like, but I think I like this better. And the reality of it is, it probably also is what they told me, and I'm just taking credit for it. Which, if that's the case, I'm not taking credit for it. It's completely their idea. I do appreciate the fact that if they did say that, they said it, because it just gave me this like really big spark of creativity. If I have a pastel, which I think I do, this pastel seafoam. Probably wings in an ivory and then start to do some extra work on them. Alright. I think I did like, I don't remember what skin tone I started out with for her. Could honestly be the title of my memoir, Stumbling into the Correct Answer. There's a joke in my family. We call them, whenever you don't know the answer but you say something and it sounds like it's right, called a wheezum. And then it's really fucking annoying when you look at it later and you were 100% correct. Not those peanut. Not that. Shaking so bad. Don't know why. Needs to be here. This is what I mean. Oh, because I'm handling it so much, it's rubbing some of the color off, and I just don't want that to be the case. It'll be a lot of fun when I start working on the details, though, let me tell you. Some Dax Silvania. Wee, wee. What's up, bit? Oh, wee. Yes. Come here for a second. You're not on. You won't be on frame. You can literally stand right here.
Yeah.
So I painted this like this blanched. It's called Blanche Berry. Like
It's
a
a gorgeous color.
desaturated violet.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I was thinking about the idea behind what
No. Thought that was an interesting description.
desaturated violet.
I know it says that, but violet is such a purple blue.
Yeah,
know it's a
it's
red
because
and
it's because it's in this
Oh,
family
it's
as
that,
well.
the
Yeah,
violet?
that's the lowest one. Like that's the new one that I got.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Look.
Okay, so I painted it
I
this.
think it's more of a maroon. but-
Yeah, it is 100%. So I painted it this, and I went, I'll probably paint this something different, but I gotta figure out how I want to do the wings. And then I saw these little antenna on here,
Mhm.
and I went, wait a second. He is based off of like the night. I was like, so I was like, I'll look up Luna Moths because like that is one. But I was like, let me see if there are any other ones. And I was like, none of the other ones like I really vibed with.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, well, I guess because I was like, well, I've already painted all this color, so I don't want to like have to redo it. I was like, I might, but I made a comment. I was like, I might have to redo it and just paint it all like that pale kind of desaturated green. And I was like, but I'll look up pictures just to see. This color
Mhm.
is that exact fucking color.
Is it that red up there?
Yeah.
Oh. I think the red looks very good with the green. Is the blue something that you've already painted?
Yes, the blue. So the reason why I did that is because it's like what I'm gonna end up doing is it's gonna be a lot darker because I'm gonna wash over it,
Mhm.
but then I'm gonna like paint like little like stars in with color, so it looks like
Ooh,
galaxy
that is
fabric.
good.
I might have to paint it darker, but that's the darkest of the desaturated blue grays, the
Yeah.
night sky. So, but yeah, it just ended
I
up.
think the green wings will look really good with that.
Yeah.
Like that red brick kind of color.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna move it up too. Like it'll start to take on a different color once I start to
Be a
add
little
highlights and
lighter.
things. But yeah, it just ended up working out really well. And then I might add different colors for like different textured things. So like for the fucking
What's
the
she
word I'm
for?
looking for? This is the model for
Oh, that one. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, I think that then the lunar moth was an incredible choice.
yeah, because I can't
Sorry,
remember
I forgot what her model was.
if they told me that they looked like a specific thing or not. I'm sure they did when we had the conversation, but
I think she's also like someone that would kind of be a little changing.
Yeah.
You know?
But like I just when I saw the picture of the moth and I saw that the colors match, I was like, oh, this
No, I love
is
that.
literally perfect. That's why I'm painting the tops of the wings like that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
Brings it all in.
but yeah,
Sick.
she's gonna be very desaturated, but I like that. I think it
Well,
has an
with
elegant
who
look
she
to it.
is, yeah.
Yeah. So I am having trouble figuring out what color I should do the. She has this like coral crown. I'm trying to figure out what color I want to do that. Okay. So yeah. No, I mean it's one of those things where what you're saying is true. Like if it's one place, it needs to be another place for it to make sense. Yeah. So should I do it a lighter color of that scheme? The same color you think? Okay. It will be lighter, but I do think that having that color be elsewhere is smart. It's weird because like red and blue are they're tertiary or whatever the word is for it. Yes. Well, again, once I start to highlight things, I think it'll look better. But at this moment, just because I'm trying to get things situated and getting a base coat on, it's going to look a little weird. But I think it'll end up working because I think that the violet and this kind of like very desaturated blue look really good together. Yeah. Honestly, I'll probably do the same thing with the crown that was planning on doing with the hair, which is trying to find like I think I have some, but getting some like metal medium and just like lightly dry brushing it over it so it has like this pearlescent look to it. Because I'm going to do that with their hair too to kind of give that, even though it's black, I want to give that kind of idea of that sheen that Lunamoths have. So are you still down here? Yeah. Sorry, it sounded like someone was on the stairs. Love you. I think also regards to what they were making a comment about. I think I'm gonna do these in that same color. Originally I was gonna do amethyst because I was gonna do a lot of like purples on her, but because this started working out a little bit better, I think keeping this tone on there. What? Yeah, that's fine. Did you call the shop? Okay. We'll do this kind of color stone. And just make sure that this one shows up. That's odd. Yeah, I'm really digging this idea. This, like, immediately brought me such joy. Oh. Just gotta figure out what color to start the wings on. They're gonna be that kind of, like, pale green. I'm gonna do... are white at the edges. You have a lot of... Let me do them in ivory. I'll do them in ivory. Actually, you know what? I'll do a test. That way it's not committing. Oh, God, too much to... Easily. Too much to the idea. See how it looks. A little bit of this. Do it here. I think ivory is just a better option than white. Because again, it's already going to have some of that kind of cream tone to it. I'll let that dry. And then I have all pastels over here. I have my arms covering myself. So yellow, pastel salmon. Oh, I want pastel seafoam, pastel indigo, pastel lavender, honey, blinding light, pastel seafoam. Yeah, that's a good color right there. All right. still coming off, so it definitely needs to dry a little bit more. In the meantime, get some texture paint down on that. You want... We're not gonna take it. You want mud. Mud. Why is everyone so scared of mud? Need some good old mud. Oh, wait. Do this, I'll have to put the basing material on. Oh, 1 second, please. Please give me 1 second. Yeah? Noon tomorrow? Okay. Love you. Woodland! Or do I want something darker? So I know I've got... That's too green. That's nice and dark. Moorland one. Ooh, we're the bog one. Alright, bog's darkest at the moment. I know I have one more. Bog it is! Which I don't think I've opened yet. I don't need to. Alright, so we're going to get into a section of mid. And this is texture paint by Huge Miniatures. I've really been enjoying working with their texture paste. I think that it is unbelievably well done. And then they have scatter flocking that they make as well. That's a part of it. They have flocking on its own, but they also sell 4-in-1 scatter flocking, which is basically like they take some of their the stuff that they have and they put it into a mix, and that mix is a specific like space that you would find that mix in. So for instance, the one that I'm using is bog, so this would be more of a bog mix, versus I have like woodland, which is self-explanatory, or the marsh, which is kind of like a bog but not as dark. Also didn't want to get these. Oh goodness gracious. I'm gonna but yeah, you just get and I'm using their palette knife that they have that comes with it, but you just put it on there, and then I recently was told that if you're not putting color on your basing materials, you're doing it wrong. I somewhat disagree with that, but I will agree in the fact that if it's very bland, then yeah, you will want to add some color to it. But yeah, you just do this, and then you can either leave it like this and put flocking on as you see fit, or you can do what I do, which is you put the texture paste on because it's a PVA based texture paste, and then you put some of the scatter flocking on. And that will give you a nice coverage. Just want to make sure you have everything where you want it to be. Scrape off any excess, because once it dries, it will just dry. But it's a good basis for, again, I've really enjoyed using it because it's a good basis for putting the scatter flocking down. A little bit more difficult to do with bases like this that have a lot of things on them, but just scrape it off, and now I'm going to go in with my hands and pick off pieces that I did not want to have that on it. It's not the worst thing to have it on there, but it will catch some of that flocking, and that's not what I want for this. So you can either dump it on, or you can do what I do, which is just stick it in, dig it around a bit, and lift it up. There. Good in. But again, it will just stick, so you just want to make sure it's where you want it. Honestly, it's kind of bleeding into this idea that I want to have like moss and things in places, so I'm not too upset about it. But then you can just move it around until you get it to your liking. And if you need a little bit more, you can always just grab it straight out of the thing. Like I said, if it's where you don't want it, you can always just grab it off. At the end of the world. It just likes to stick to the PVA. So I want these roots to be a little bit exposed. And just to get it out there a little bit. I should probably get this. Yeah. And you have one really nice, cool base. Water. Off. It's done. And just make sure you clean off your palette knife when you're done. That way, when you use it again, it doesn't have leftover bits on it. And then, if you have a brush that you don't really need to use that often, or some kind of sculpting tool, this is where you can go in again and just kind of move any of the static away, clean it off, and make sure it looks the way that you want it to. And then if you're really worried about it and you don't want it to come off in any way, what you can do is you can seal it with a PVA glue mix or with like water, or you can just hit it with a varnish at the end. And that should keep it from... that is what's causing it to... that I wanted to move. Beautiful. nicely right into there. And she does pretty well. So good. First and foremost, though, let's give it a second to dry, but take a look at this idea. That I have a sneaking suspicion this will be fine. Yeah, I think that's gonna be okay. Or that way I don't get my grubby little hands on anything anymore. Nope. Yep, that is fine. Put some good old this in, and then we'll let it dry. When we let this dry for a minute, front and center, and I can see it real well. And then when we let that dry, we can start work on something different for now. Or something that I've already been working on. Do have a lot of the colors that I was planning on using on Warren, but I think I want to work on a Trench Crusade model because I have not worked on any of them yet, and I was really excited to work on them. Plus, we got 40 minutes or so, so we should dry relatively quickly, which means I'll be able to work on it a little bit. Oh, good. Okay, so I've got these lovely characters I have to paint for my D&D game, or more importantly, these lovely Trench Crusade models, which I want to pick one that's fun. Do the Ecclesiastical Knight, Nun, sorry, excuse me. Sniper Priest. It's printed really, really nicely. A lot of them have metal on them. Okay. You have an artwork. So, yeah. This is Stigmatic. With a beige coloration. it is very, very dark silver. It's grody. I'm actually going to do a thing that I watched someone else do after I paint this, which I think will go... We'll start with ivory and we'll just wash it down. Ivory already tends to be pretty not opaque in its application, so plus I've got the Grimdark King himself in these colors. Do that. And we'll put some specific shades on. Ironically, this is probably going to be a completely painted with the John Blanche set model, because this is very Grimdark inspired in the model making. And I was just watching a video, I don't remember who was doing it. Someone was painting, oh, it was Uncle Adam from Tabletop Minions. He was painting his shrine Anacrid. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. He was painting that, and he started it with, because he wanted it to be like rusty. So he started it in like a ruddy color. Then I dry brushed over that with metals, and then finished off with the rust effects. I think I might do that. I'm getting out of dry brushing, but honestly I think metals lend themselves to the idea of it, so I'm gonna do that. And then I ironically think that the Ruddy Terra is probably going to be the best for this. But yeah. don't want it to be too thick, but I still want it to have good coverage. So like if it doesn't get a full opaque layer on, that's honestly fine. It's not that bad. I think I will hold off on doing the sword though. It would make more sense that that would be something that they would pay attention to and keep up. A lot of the idea of this is that these individuals have just been armored for a long time and barely taken them off. At least from what I've seen. Kind of the same thing with the pistol, because like as much as it would be cool to paint it rusty, the reality is it would be a pretty shitty pistol and gun if it wasn't well maintained. So thinking about that, like you got to think about, I talk about it a lot obviously if you've watched any of my stuff, where it's like you got to let the model speak to you and tell its story. That's part of what I mean. Like if you have some understanding of how things work in the real world, you'll have an idea of what should be painted like what, you know. If you've ever, you know, worked with guns before, you know that if you don't clean them properly, they jam and therefore are not very good at doing the thing that they're supposed to do, which is keep you safe. If that, obviously, it was your responsible gun owner and not a cop or someone. But like they're meant to be things to keep you safe, and this obviously they're meant to be an offensive. But you wouldn't go into a battle with a gun you haven't ever cleaned, because it looks cool. Because you'll probably get shot and not be able to shoot back. So. Just putting, this is Ready Terra on her so far. It looks really good, and it's gonna lend itself really well to that kind of rust effect that I want. I'll let the hilt be rusty, because the hilt being rusty doesn't really do anything. The blade itself would definitely be well maintained. About 25 minutes left. start on her. I love this stuff. It's a museum strength putty. So most of the time it holds pretty well. A bunch of ivory on the wings, so when I get to the point where I'm ready to put that pastel sea foam on it, it's got a good base that it can pick up brightness from. And I chose the ivory again because it's kind of, obviously it's not pure white. The pure white would be like the most intense color from the speed paint that I'm going to put on it. But I want it to kind of have that already kind of like mix of the desaturated looks to it. And I think that the ivory having like a little bit of that brown note to it is going to lend itself really well to the wings overall. So that's why we're doing ivory and not white right now. the fun part. And she'll have a full base coat, which is crazy. We've been sitting there for a while now. Haven't had the motivation to paint her. Now, one, I have a reason to, and two, I have a color scheme. Yay! we're getting a good coat on here. Like I said, the ivory isn't the most opaque thing, especially on black. And the changing in texture will lend itself to the overall effect, but I just want to make sure that I get a nice, good, even coat on here. Minutes left. And kind of out of water, and I need her to dry. I think that's where I'll cut it today. We got a lot of good work done on a couple things. Finally started some work on my Trench Crusade models, which is great. Which I am very excited about. And we'll probably be doing more content with them moving forward, but honestly, just getting some actual paint on them is very nice. And they're looking good so far, so yeah. Well, that's gonna do it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and chilling while I paint, or painting while I paint, or whatever you do while I paint. If you'd like to keep up to date on things, don't forget to follow me on all my socials at Wheelers Minis on pretty much everything. If you'd like to, and you haven't already, please follow the channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is completely free. But if you'd like to financially support me, you can do so by subscribing on here on a month-to-month basis, or using your Twitch Prime subscription, which costs you pretty much nothing as long as you're not using it elsewhere besides an Amazon Prime membership. Yeah, tomorrow's my birthday, so I hope you guys have a great night. I'm gonna have a great day tomorrow. Until then, I will see you guys on Thursday as we pick this up again. But until then, have a great rest of your week. And yeah, I will see you on Thursday to pick this up a little bit more. All right. Have a great night, and I will see you next time. Bye.